Friends and partners, employer branding experts, and experienced HR and marketing professionals, welcome to Oddwork's Employer Branding Talks. My name is Charles Sinclair. I'm head of employer branding here at Oddwork, and together with my friend and employer branding project lead, Emma Häregård, we are very happy to welcome you to today's live streamed event. And today's theme is a very exciting one. It is employee video, the future of talent acquisition. And we are looking forward to an engaging session with exciting guests who will share both hands-on tools and insights into how employee video will impact the future of talent acquisition.
That is right, Charlie. And Oddwork is an employer branding and recruitment company that supports its partners in attracting, recruiting, and retaining the right talent in today's competitive candidate market. We are very fortunate to work with 1,000 of different candidates each year and many of the industry's most proactive employers. This in turn allows us to get in-depth insights into how the candidate market and candidate behaviors are developing and what companies can do to stay on top and remain an attractive employer in their specific industry. And we kind of see it as our job to share these insights and ways of working within employer branding and talent acquisition. And that's what these events, employer branding talks, are all about, in fact. So in these talks, we will deep dive into relevant topics that we see will have a clear impact on companies' ability to attract, recruit, and retain the right employees moving forward. Something that I would say is especially true for today's event.
True, very true.
Yeah. And before we deep dive into how employee video is changing the way in which companies will be able to attract, recruit, and communicate the culture and career opportunities to the outside world, we want to encourage everyone in this digital room to be a part of today's conversation. So if you haven't already, I see many of you, say hi in the chat here on the side and let us know where you're from and what you expect from today's event. And please ask questions to our speakers throughout this event here today. And we will do our very best, of course, to pick up as many questions as we, excuse me, as we can live in this event here. So, Charlie, today's theme, employee video, the future of talent acquisition. What is it all about?
It's a very good question. Why have we brought everyone here? Well, it probably hasn't escaped anyone really how big of a mega trend video is and how it continues to grow at an increasing speed in almost every available channel out there. If we look at YouTube, for example, it's the second most popular website in the world after Google. And let's make sure I'm doing this correctly, 8 new users join TikTok every single second. And video quite simply makes our brains feel, engage, and relate so much more than just text or imagery, why it is such an amazing communication tool. And there's, of course, nothing wrong, there's nothing new about companies communicating their employer brand and culture via video, but the ways in which candidates want and expect companies to communicate have changed. Because when such a big percentage of the candidate market, and that's all of us represented in this room, has lived and consumed digital marketing and content for so many years, we've all become almost experts in identifying what is authentic and trustworthy content from a company and what is not, right? If you think about it, if we, for example, see an employer branding film with employees actually being actors with perfect white teeth, not represented by me, but employees high-fiving in the office whilst drinking cappuccinos in their beanbags, we know it's almost certainly fake, right? We know it's fake. And you know what? Candidates realize it's fake too, at least the big majority, which is just not a great thing if you're trying to attract the right people to join your organization. So what we see is that candidates expect authenticity and relevance today, and this means that companies have to think much more about how they communicate their culture and career opportunities to the outside world. And we figured before we get started with our exciting speakers here today that we would take the temperature in the room and ask all of you to which extent you use video as part of your company's employer branding and or talent acquisition strategy today. So we are in fact going to bring up a poll here to the right, where we ask you the question, to what extent do you use video as part of your employer branding and or talent acquisition strategy? And you can see the options there. We're not really using video. We're using video more and more, or video is absolutely key in our EB strategy. So these are interesting numbers to see, right?
Yeah.
Wow, it's pretty, it's close among many. Yeah,
For
what do you say,
sure,
Emma?
yeah, and it's really interesting to see that it's not many that is having video as an absolute key in their employer branding strategy yet, I will
Exactly.
say.
Yet.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yet. After today, they will have it potentially. That's so interesting. I mean, so 35, 46, 20, it's quite even there. But I mean,
Yeah.
I would say interesting to see how 46% biggest percentage there is using video more and more. So
Mhm.
the idea, of course, in connection to having these sorts of events is to bring in experts who can tell you how to be even more successful when it comes to utilizing video as part of your employer branding and or talent acquisition strategy. So it looks like we have an engaged bunch of participants and group in this room today, Emma. So what do you say? Should we
Yeah.
bring in our first guest?
Yes, let's do it. And with French arrogance and a Swedish mindset, Benjamin is one of the leading content producers in Sweden, helping companies such as Anything, Kry, Alfa Laval, and EasyPark to both attract, onboard, and retain employees with the videos. With the goal to change HR communications for good, he's known for his way of challenging his clients, and us at Oddberg, I have to admit,
Very
by
true.
truly letting employees speak. No one has been able to track the employee video trend more closely than him over the last 5 years. Why we are so very happy to have him here with us today. So a warm welcome to Benjamin up on stage.
Hi, Ben. Great to see you. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for that beautiful picture as well. It's
So you said 5 minutes before we actually went into the talk here that you were not happy with the picture. So I'll
no,
just imagine that this talk will be this bad
this
from
is
now on.
excellent. No,
Yeah.
I prefer if the picture is terrible.
Yeah, okay. You can only go up from there.
Exactly.
It's good. Not kidding. It looks great.
But thank you so much for having me.
Okay. No, it's our pleasure. And
Truly.
I mean, Ben, just so start off by telling everyone at Local Glimpse, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, before that, I must say that I'm kind of like happy that you found my French arrogant as challenging for odd work and not just purely arrogant. But yeah, like shortly, we create as authentic as possible employee videos for scale ups and enterprise, I would say, like as a target market. And we do collaborate together with you, Oddwork, on some clients, and that has been pretty cool. So the concept that we have is mainly around letting employees speak rather than scripting them, rather than forcing them to deliver a specific message that they might not even believe in. I mean, you were sort of like highlighting that in your intro. There is a lot of these messages that are sometimes forced on employees, and we're trying to move away from that. We're trying to work with ideal output, like what are the ideal things that an employee might say, but we would never sort of like force an employee to say anything they might not want to say. Yeah, and I mean, like practically speaking, we work with basically as a sort of creative content partner with HR teams on a monthly basis to sort of create, decide where to distribute, and of course, like create the content, of course.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, great. And you've been in the industry for 5 years now, and you've seen how both candidate expectations and therefore also companies' ways of communicating their employer brands and employee experience via video has changed. What has happened?
Yeah, I think like the candidates happen. Just to put it simply, I think like they kind of got tired of. Are we allowed to swear on this event, or like I think they got tired of this bullshit, to be honest. And I just went ahead.
Okay, I was going to say that YouTube normally stops that afterwards, but then you did it anyway, so it's all
You can
good.
bleep it.
French
Cool.
arrogance.
Now it's ruined, but
Excuse
it's
my
all good now.
French.
Please, Ben, go.
But no, but so I think candidates are just became just tired of all the sort of like fancy things that they were saying, and like our employer were basically telling employees that they were going to save the world with their CRM system, or so. So I think this is just back to reality. Candidates actually want to know what is it like to work for your company. I think if you take like a tech role or a product role, what they're interested in is, for example, what percentage of fixing bugs versus creating new features are they actually going to do versus am I going to be able to sit on a bin bag? They might be interested to know like, oh, you have cool bin bags and stuff in the office, but they want to know what are they actually going to spend their time on, who they're going to spend their time with, and what's the actual environment of work.
And then just a side question to that. So when you go out there and with the ambition to let employees speak and have that kind of perspective, how do you normally work in successfully being able to communicate that message or capturing, I would say, that message from employees?
Yeah, I think like the main advice is to remove expectation from honestly like HR or talent acquisition, to remove expectation of what an employee might say, but instead focus on having a real, honest, interested conversation with the employees and asking them for real. So why are you still here? We're talking about the candidate market. There is opportunities to work in pretty much wherever you want if you're within like a certain set of talent. So why are you still working here? What makes you motivated to keep growing in this company? And a lot of the people would say like, oh, I haven't really given a lot of thoughts, but you sort of like dig deeper and then you start getting like to the nitty gritty and you start getting the answers you want. And then out of those answers, you then create videos, not the other way around.
Yeah. So you start from the other side. But is there, would you say, is there a difference between if a company needs to work more in the awareness part of things versus more in the like activation or actually like conversion phase, when getting the employer brand well known at the top, or actually converting a candidate to start working in a potential job ad or maybe on a career site? Are there any differences there according to you?
Yeah, I mean, there are some differences, but I think we have to distinguish employer branding from recruitment marketing. And the idea is you need to have an always on we need to have an always on mindset to sort of keep creating new content to be top of mind for candidates that are passive and not necessarily looking to change. So just like putting out new content that is going to be targeted to different target talent pools. But later on, you need to also produce very specific, very targeted, potentially short form type of content that is going to be, okay, now you've heard about us for the past 6 months, about our culture, about our opportunities for growth. You heard about us on our mission and our vision. Here specifically, we have a role that we think might really be fitting to your profile. You will come in much stronger than if you do a cold outreach, just like a marketer. I mean, you need to think like a marketer.
Yeah. And so I can imagine that it's interesting to hear for many who are here in the room. Do you see that HR employer branding is becoming more like marketing division or marketing departments? Do you feel that they do resonate in that way?
I mean, slowly, very slowly. But what I think is interesting is we're seeing like one way more cross-functional collaboration between not only marketing and talent acquisition, but also from product or tech and talent acquisition. Like we're seeing more engaged hiring managers actually communicating and potentially becoming employer brand ambassador. So I think that's a key part. And then when it comes specifically to collaboration between marketing and talent acquisition, I mean, I know some of our clients, and I can say out loud, I'm thinking of Easy Park, for example. They have brought in inside their talent team someone from marketing, and she brings a whole lot of knowledge that talent acquisition didn't have, and it's a really good opportunity to drive results.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. And I just want to ask you, like, how do you see employer video and the way in which companies will communicate the culture and employer brand moving forward?
So I mean, like moving forward, I think we're going to see more and more authenticity. We're going to see more and more contextualized content. What I mean by that is that I think if you communicate to a product person the same way you might communicate to a salesperson, they will not resonate in the same way. So the content is becoming more and more contextualized, and you will have, and I mean you're already having, but you will have a specific clip dedicated to a specific platform for a specific talent pool, and then you will have maybe a longer clip or even not video, maybe like a piece of written content that will be more appropriate for another type of talent pool. I know, for example, a lot of salespeople spend a lot of time in their car, and so the kind of content that you can create for them is more audio based, like podcast. So it's about contextualizing the content you create to the talent pool you're trying to reach. And for that, you need to understand what are your talent pool, where are your talent pool spending their time, what kind of questions are they asking, and just to bounce back on that, like in order to figure out where and what kind of questions your talent pool is having, you basically need to listen to them during the job interview. I mean, you're currently having like a lot of job interviews where those candidates are asking you these questions. So you need to do the research, you need to write them down, like write the top 10 questions that are being asked during job interviews, and then like gather the data and use that as a way to create content and like source your ideas.
I think that it's interesting what you're saying there, that it kind of feels like employer branding films historically have just been, we just have to get the culture out there somehow. So you create this sort of fluffy film concept, which everyone has seen before. And I think that what you're saying there, the analytical approach to what kind of content are we actually creating, it's very interesting, and it's highly logical, but still it feels like it's a new way of thinking for HR and talent acquisition.
Yeah, for HR and talent acquisition, exactly. I think this is something that is well known in terms of like targeting, like whatever social platforms marketers are using.
Yeah, cool. And I see we have a question from Jason David here. We'll get to it shortly. Focusing on if you have any core employer branding and for practicing core employer branding and future talent acquisition, any set of specific service provider or site. So you can just think about that for a second, Ben, if anything comes to mind as you're in the industry. But like any additional thoughts on the future, how employers' ambition or way of communicating via video, or how that will change. Anything else?
Yeah, I think like one of the things that I'm seeing a lot is the collaboration with hiring managers. I think what we're seeing is a play on the distribution. So you have more and more people understanding how to create content. You have more and more people having also content creator within their talent team. I'm thinking like I've seen that Truecaller is in the call, and I know Antia is like a great content creator there. So there's lots of like people understanding that. But on top of that, you need to think about the distribution. You need to think about where are you going to publish these videos? Are they going to be on LinkedIn? Are they going to be on the career site? Where is your audience? Are they on Stack Overflow? And in order for you to amplify the reach, you need to think about engaging your hiring managers. That means having trainings with them. That means being a service provider of content to them and going, hey guys, here we have like a set of videos with our employees. This person is in your team. You should like publish that on your own profile on LinkedIn. So the distribution and engagement of the rest of the organization, I think, is what's going to make a big difference for employers.
Very good insight right there. Cool. And Antia, she waves her hand.
Sorry for the
great content creator right there.
Sorry for the unrequested shout out, but
Yeah, good. I mean, Ben, if we look at Jason David's question there, any thoughts on that? Do you have like you're in this space on an everyday basis? I would assume, Jason David, and please do clarify in the comments if I misunderstand, but if it's like any specific maybe service provider or functions or softwares potentially in connection to this that you've seen that are relevant to communicate the employer brand. What do you say, Ben?
I'm not sure I understand the question 100% in terms of like functions in hiring.
Please go from the top of your mind. But anything exciting that you've seen in this space over the last years?
It's different. Like there's a good opportunity to plug the next speaker and one of the Life Inside company, because it's actually like I think something interesting that is going on where you have a very raw sort of like selfie videos that you guys have been working on, and I think this is a pretty interesting. This is definitely a pretty interesting software in terms of just letting people answer whatever they actually feel. I think cool. Yeah, I think overall it's not so much about like the service provider or the tech. I mean, there's lots of tech when it comes to recruitment marketing and things like that. I think that the most important thing is for talent acquisition to get educated on like contextualized and recruitment marketing.
Very good. And sorry, Emma, you go.
Yeah, and I was just going to say that because we are soon running out of time together with you, but just to summarize, like your top 3 recommendations on how to create successful employer branding video content today, what would that be?
Yes, I've actually written this down. So I would say, depending on where you are, but I would say, look at the budget that you have for this big culture movie that you used to plan, or let's say that you're still thinking in this way. Take your budget that you have for that one big culture movie, split it in 50 and publish 1 video every week.
That's cool.
So that's very clear. No matter the budget you had planned, split it in 50, publish 1 video every week. I don't care if the budget is 100,000, 1 million, 100 million, it doesn't matter. Split it in 50, publish once every week. Practical. The second recommendation would be to actually listen and research your candidate, and the easiest way to do that is asking them during the job interviews what they actually want to know, and then using that as a source to create content. And the third recommendation would be to actually engage and train your talent acquisition team and your hiring managers to become employer brand ambassadors. So it's not, I understand that a lot of it is not strict video per se, but this is the concept you need, this is the mindset you need to have to produce good videos.
And it's really valuable to hear from you, and thank you very much for your insights and perspectives on this subject, Ben. And Charlie, what do you take away with you from Ben's chat?
No, but I think it's always a pleasure to listen into you, Ben. So thank you very much for sharing. So I think that what I take with me from this is that because you're really you're quite right that we're kind of in a position now where and we'll be bringing this up on the 10th of May at Employer Branding Summit. Like, is employer branding becoming FOMO, fear of missing out? That so many organizations are realizing that, okay, this is something we have to focus on properly. So what you're saying there about educating HR or talent acquisition teams that a couple of years ago might not have been as necessary to really like in-depth understand these things. Now it's like a necessity because your competitors are out there doing this. So if you don't do it, you'll get trapped in the backwaters. So great insights, Ben, and thank you very much for great perspectives and a good talk.
Thank you so much for having me, and have a good rest of the event.
Thank you very much. Cheers. And so Emma, what do you say? Should we jump on to next speaker?
I think it's time.
it's time, right? I mean, so like we just heard from Ben, I mean, the ways in which employers are expected to communicate via video to attract, recruit, and retain in the best way have changed to a very great degree. And that is something that our next guest and his team has built a whole product around. Life Inside is the newly launched employee video and employer branding platform that allows companies to create and publish authentic employee selfie videos, as Ben said, right to their career sites and job ads, really reimagining what it means for companies to communicate life inside the organization. And with both big and smaller brands such as Axfood, Blocket, Knowit, and even universities already on board with the product, we are very happy to welcome Head of Sales, Niklas Busck, to Employer Branding Talks to tell us more. Niklas, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Great to see you. And Ben was really frustrated about the picture that we picked up for him. What do you think about your picture? Is it okay?
Well, it is from a few years ago, but I think it's okay.
It's okay. Okay, great. Well, we're doing our best in the Oddwork team to with what we have.
And we're
Niklas, great to have you here. Sorry,
yeah,
Emma,
we're really
Thank you for
glad to have
having
you here with us today. And Niklas, you represent a platform allowing employers to create and even publish user-generated employee video testimonials right to their career site and job ads. And how do you say it connects with what Ben was talking about before?
Yeah, sure. So that was, first of all, such an interesting talk you had with Ben. And just like Ben was saying, we see these same trends as well. The research candidates are doing today is more in-depth than ever before. And we see, as Ben was talking about, that candidates today, they are expecting to get a clear and honest picture of the company culture. So a very effective way to provide candidates with authentic insights is via employee videos. So based on what Ben shared and what we see as well, I'm pretty convinced that organizations must find new ways to communicate their culture and employer brand in an authentic and effective way. Otherwise, they will for sure lose, risking a lot of potential candidates.
Yeah. I mean, the platform that you do represent, which is Live Inside. I mean, tell everyone here what do you do? What is it and how does it work?
Yeah, sure. So I would say, first of all, that when you combine the communication gap that we have seen between candidates and employers together with the latest employer branding trends, that is when you get Life Inside. So it is all about employee storytelling reinvented. So basically, it is a video platform together with a video widget that presents itself right on your career site and even job ads with employees authentically video replying to questions about life inside your organization. So if I bring up a video for you guys, where I have picked out 2 global career sites, and this is the way they normally look like. So here you see Coca-Cola, and we'll take a look at Apple shortly as well. But most career sites look something like this, and we try to convey the culture in a clear enough way. But the challenge is, of course, especially if you take into account what you just discussed together with Ben, is that if you think about all the different candidates that visit your career site will have different perspectives, hence different questions they would like to get an answer to before they decide to apply to open positions. And we know candidates are looking for authentic insights, right? So who are better to provide this than your own employees? And many times here you see Apple as well. This is what it looks like. So maybe there's no surprise that the #1 obstacle candidates are experienced when looking for a job is not knowing what it's like to actually work at the organization.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, and I'll show you a job ad here as well. And once again, most job ads look something like this, and you'll see that almost nothing has changed for over 100 years the way job ads look.
Text and bullet points.
Yeah, sure. So we thought about how we could bridge this and instead let the employees be presented at the forefront of the employer brand and that culture. So Life Inside, as you will see very soon, is all about employee storytelling via user-generated videos. It's about putting your employees at the forefront of the candidate experience. So here you see the Life Inside video widget that is integrated to any career site, job ads, and even landing pages. So here we have Avinode, a company within the aviation industry. And you can see employees replying to all sorts of different questions. And there is no limit on questions. There could be questions about what is most challenging in your role as a software engineer, or as we see Tim here, what do you do in your role as an account manager? And just imagine to get the possibility to interact with a potential colleague in this way if you were to apply for an account management position.
And fully via selfie videos, as Ben put it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'll show you a few more companies that uses Life Inside. So here you see Starship and also Blocket that are using Life Inside to front their employer brand with employees in this way. So it is the video widget that you can place on, as we said, any landing page, but it also has a video library. We refer to it as Netflix for candidates. So as a candidate, you can click in on the video library where you can see all the employee content from that organization. And you also see that every video card has different video tags, which means that you can easily browse on areas and topics that interests you the most. So let's say I'm interested in wanting to know what it's like to work with an HR at Axfood. I would choose HR, and then I get to meet my potential future colleagues in this way.
And I mean, it really does speak, of course. So, and this is the
sure. So I figured I'd show you how it works, how you actually create and manage all these employee videos. So you create a new video, and then all you have to do is just type in the question that you want to send out to one of your employees, and the person's name and job title, and their email address. And the last thing that you have to do is just add suitable video text based on what suits the video. And then you click send, and the employee will receive an email where all they have to do is just record themselves using their mobile phone, answering to the question that has been sent out. And once they're happy, they send it back to Life Inside for approval. And the admin will receive a notification that here you have a new video to review. If you're happy with the video, you just click approve video, and it will be ready to go live. And once you want to take the video live, you just click publish live.
I mean, it really does speak, of course, to what Ben was talking about there about cost-effective content. One can imagine, or one can imagine.
And here I'm showing you just the analytics page as well, so you can keep track of how your videos are performing, and you can pick whichever date range that you want to take a look at. So I would say that Life Inside, it is designed for simplicity, and that is actually how easy it is and how it works.
Yeah.
And I mean, so I mean, because I mean, this is of course really interesting, and that we're kind of in the time, both trend-wise in connection to employer branding, where we're looking for authenticity and relevance, and this sort of content that Ben was referring to as well, contextual. And so you are running this on a number of companies and steadily growing. But what kind of results are you seeing from using employee video content in this way, and what are candidates themselves saying?
Sure. So, and in order to be as concrete as possible, I figured that I would actually share some initial data that we have seen from clients using Life Inside. And we launched about 6 months ago, and we have about 40 companies live with employee videos via Life Inside. And what we have seen is that you get a 15 to 30% increase on conversion rate on job ads where Life Inside is activated. And we also see a 40% increased time on site by candidates since they get to engage with your employees. And also a plus 40% increased positive brand experience. And what's pretty fun is, apart from the talent attraction perspective, we have also received feedback from clients that their own employees are found it very fun and stimulating to be involved and contribute to the company's employer branding work in this way. So we see that the employee engagement internally is increasing as well. And you also asked about the candidate markets, and maybe no surprise after hearing Ben earlier, but these videos have been received in a very positive way. And we actually see that over 60% of candidates say that it would increase their interest in the company because they get the sort of insights that they are looking for, and it also increases the credibility to actually hear from the employees.
And you joked before about having the job ads have looked the same for the last 100 years, but you are now changing that. How?
Yeah, isn't it quite crazy when you actually think about it? Like, what else has looked the same for over 100 years? Can you name one thing?
Where we in fact can. We know that you are currently working in a software as a service company where it's like, but I would imagine that like stuff like trees have looked the same.
Okay.
Horses have probably looked the same. Stones, but we get where
Right.
you're coming from. Yeah.
I have to do some more research.
Good
They look
one,
the
not a
same,
great
really?
one, but yeah, I
Okay.
think everyone understands, kind of. Yeah.
I'm
No, I get
afraid
it.
to keep going now.
Yeah. No, but we get you.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
fascinating, and we see that on Oddwork side as well. Of course, it's
Yeah.
crazy how job ads have literally moved. Almost nothing has happened
Yeah.
since 100 years and before that as well. Of course. So now we
Yeah.
see where you're coming from.
Yeah. It was actually as well one of our application tracking system partners that explained this to us, that if you were to take a look at the newspaper from 1920 and look at the job ad,
Exactly, yeah.
you will see that it will almost look identical to how most job ads look today. It's mostly text and not very engaging, but yeah, we are changing that via a new feature that we call storylines, and I figured that I would actually show you how it works.
Yeah, please do go for it. And it
Yeah.
is crazy, as you say, that it is that way, because as we
Yeah.
know that the job ad is the main like first point of contact for many candidates with an employer.
Yeah, so here you see an actual job ad on behalf of Oddwork looking for a recruitment consultant. And as you see, yeah, of course we have a picture, but then it's mainly text and not very engaging for candidates. But what storylines allow you to do is to add specific videos to specific job ads in this case. So let's try it and see how it works. So you start by accessing via the Life Inside platform, storylines, and then all you have to do is create a new storyline. And since we are looking for a recruitment consultant, it makes sense to name the storyline Recruitment Consultant Gothenburg. And then all you have to do is basically go back to the job ad, copy the URL, and paste it to the storyline.
Yeah.
And now you can either record new videos or choose videos that you already have in your video library. So let's say I want to use 3 videos in this case. I choose my videos, and then all I have to do is click Set Videos. And now I also have the possibility to choose in what order they will be presented at the job ad. And once I'm happy, I'm choosing myself first, of course. I just click Activate.
Yeah.
And if we go back to the job ad and just refresh, you'll see Life Inside activated with the specific
so
videos
cool.
that we picked. Yeah.
We've seen this before, of course, from myself, but it's a major change to the kind of experience.
Yeah,
Truly.
and there could be questions about anything like who are we looking for in the role as a recruitment consultant, or tell us more about the recruitment process, or hi and welcome to your new workplace.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how we're finally changing the way.
That's
job
how
ads
you're
look.
finally changing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're not, I would imagine, changing neither trees nor horses or stones. That's in
That will be my next
that will be
assignment.
your exactly.
Yeah.
That will be your next focus. Great. Now, thank you for that, Niklas. It's really awesome. And I mean, yeah. If we look at this one, Emma, what would you say?
Yeah, and I must say, I look forward to see you changing the future of horses.
Yeah.
I'm really
Let's
going to
not
keep
talk
an eye on
about
you.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to get back to the subject, based on what we talked about here today, what would you say are your top 3 recommendations on how to get started with employee video?
Yeah, sure. So I would say that my recommendations are quite simple, actually. So my first recommendation would be to just get started with a couple of initial videos, let's say 3 to 4 videos. And then you, in this case, activate the video widget to your site, because this will allow the organization to basically understand how cool and effective it really is. And my next recommendation would be to bring recruiting and hiring managers into the platform, so they themselves can record specific videos for every new job ad that they post via storylines to drive conversion and engagement. And my last recommendation would be to then scale your video creation and engage your employees in contributing to what kind of questions and videos they think should be added to the Life Inside platform.
Yeah.
Because this will also then allow Life Inside to basically become an automatic content machine, since the videos can be used in social media as well.
And I suppose that if you add on top of that what Ben was talking about earlier, like really understanding the questions that candidates have, and then just easily collecting that content in a really cost-effective way and putting that up there, you're pretty close to that split the budget and splitting it into 50.
Yeah, splitting 50.
Splitting it exactly. Thank you, Benjamin, in the chat there. Great. I'm way ahead of you. No, really awesome, Niklas. And we assume, of course, that Live Inside is available for everyone here today to try out. And that you can be reached in some way. What's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, sure. So I think Julia actually shared my like a link that you can book a meeting directly in my calendar. But I will also you can also reach out to me on LinkedIn and just connect with me on LinkedIn and send me a message there if you want to. Yeah, if you have any questions or just want to talk about employee videos.
Really cool, awesome. And I saw that we got a quick question, because we'll do a quick one as we are reaching the end of your talk here. But do you have recommendations on how to motivate employees to spend time creating the videos as part of employer branding strategy? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, sure. So I would say like a recommendation would be to have like do a meeting with your employees and tell them more about why you're using employee videos in this way, and then engage them in what do you think we are missing out sharing or communicating on our career site or job ads, to get them engaged. Or if you were a candidate, what would you like to know before joining our company, etc., etc. So get them involved in actually creating questions as well, and then send it out to them. Yeah.
And I would suppose also that it's a great way in explaining that. I mean, this is an effective way to make sure that the right kind of colleagues join them moving forward, right?
Yeah.
So no, okay, great talk, Niklas, and really awesome to see the updates in the product there. And I saw that you put your LinkedIn there in the chat too. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Niklas.
Catch you later. Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, Emma. So what do you say? I mean, we're not done yet. I mean, something really exciting is about to come up as well.
Yes,
indeed. Are we ready for our next speaker?
Yeah, I'm super ready.
Or speakers, in fact. Yeah, let's do it. So Addpro, everyone, is the company that creates the difference in the cloud and on the ground. And as one of the leading application and cloud integrators in the Nordics, and soon to be 500 employees in Sweden and Denmark, it is not just their growth over the last 2 decades that makes them special, but even more so, it's their focus and real dedication on making sure both the consumer brand and the employer brand is represented by their values, their employee experience and their culture, the so-called the Addpro way. And this is in fact a company that is right now doing a full rebranding as a result of their new revised values having been discovered together with the whole organization, and they are using employee video to get their message out there. Niklas Persson, CEO at Addpro, Niklas Henriksson, Chief Marketing Officer, and Julia Nilsson, Marketing Manager. Welcome to Employer Branding Talks. Let's see if we can bring you up onto the stage. There we go. Hello, everyone. How are you? Great to have you.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Nice to
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, so great to have you. And I mean, it's so fascinating with Addpro, we feel, because we, at least as an employer branding organization, we haven't really bumped into a company before that is so extremely focused on making sure that really the consumer brand is based on the employer brand and the culture, as you are. And that's why it's so interesting to listen into you. So if we can start on the right side of things, Niklas Persson, you are the CEO of Addpro, and you recently revised your company values to called Addpro Way. And how did you do that, and why did you do that?
Yeah, thanks for having me and us here. Really interesting, and thanks to all speakers before. Unfortunately, I couldn't hear the other Niklas, so I hope that's only me. Otherwise, they need to add sound to their solution.
Quite right. Quite right. I think we hear him, but yeah.
Good.
Cool.
Yeah, we know it works. We use it. So, and we have why we have revised it. Yeah, to your question, we, as you said initially, we work very close with our customer, and we are practicing actually a fully transparent culture at Addpro. So everything we do internally, we try to extract that to our customers and partners in every aspect we can, because it's much more easy to be honest. You don't need to keep track of what you said and what you did internally if you can't do it externally. So it's better to practice a good behavior, or as we say, the best behavior, and then you never have to worry about a thing except for winning deals. So and then you can focus on that instead. So and we have only one crucial asset at Addpro, and many companies as Addpro is in the same situation, and that is our employees. And we live in a very changing environment, so we need to be relevant, and we need to change fast, and we need to improve and develop in every aspect, every day, every hour, every minute. And that is actually the answer to your initial question. We need to be relevant for all the new prospects we are addressing. We're growing really fast. We have been in business for 22 years, but we sold the company 7 years ago and started on a new journey half a year later, carving out the brand and so on, and started Addpro 7 years ago from scratch. And today we're in 2 countries and 500 employees. So it's fast growing. And to really handle that, we need to be relevant for all our prospects in the market, and all the young people, so to speak. We have done a lot of good things during the history, but that's maybe not relevant today. So the decision to revise the culture was a big decision for us, of course, but a necessary one. And with that, we can include all the employees in this process, because this is nothing from the management team to address. This is from the employee to address to the management and to the customer, so we can carry out that feeling and culture. So usually during the years we always said image is everything, and now it really is everything actually. So you need to be spotted in the market in a good way, and as much as we can speak about employer branding, it's a very huge movement going on in the market today. It's employee branding. Exactly. So all the employees, coming employees, they're branding themselves in some way, and we need to align with them, so we can meet at the right level. So actually that's the main reasons.
Cool.
And just to pass the question over to the other Niklas in the room, Niklas Henriksson, just your quick words on you're now doing this full rebranding based on the Addpro way, as we talked about briefly here, and your employees' experience of working in Addpro. And how does a company go from revising its values to a full rebranding? I'm talking like website, brand colors, copywriting, everything.
Yeah, it's been a very, very fun and hectic time. And when the new culture behavior guide was in place just before the pandemic, so the last part, I think, was running right into the pandemic. But when we did that, we felt that we had a very good ground standing on taking the next step. As Niklas, the other Niklas person said, there's many Niklas here today.
Yeah, there is. It's been highly confusing in the weeks leading up to this event as well. We can tell you that.
But you know, Charlie, it's just to confuse the Russians in these times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
can be very good. But as Niklas said, many things has evolved the last 7 years in Addpro, and the company is a totally another creature today. And we've gone from 70 to almost 500 employees. So we're really doing a lot at the same time running. But when we start first to talk about the new company brand platform, we felt that it really had to rest on the core of our values, the Addpro way that we have been talking about. And when we started to plan at the same time the new website, we quite early also started to talk about the target group on the website. Who are we building this website for? And we realized that we have 4 important target groups who's equally important. Of course, the new customers, attracting them, but also our existing customers. But we also wanted to include our own colleagues at Addpro, who we wanted to be proud, showing everyone our new updated brand platform and new graphic profile. But maybe the 4th one is more important, even though they're equal, and that is the potential new colleagues we wanted to have on board, who is visiting the ordinary website and not only the career site. And these 2 had to go hand in hand, so they got the same feeling wherever they are. And all those people visiting the website, customers, new employees, or whatever, we really wanted to touch them both with how it is to work with Addpro, what value we can help them with when we are a partner to them, but we also how it can be working at Addpro as a colleague. And this everything has to be stand on the same values, the Addpro way, the one that we worked with you together at Oddwork. So we really saw that everything is connected to each other. That doesn't matter, because an employee today can be at their customer tomorrow, and maybe someone working at our customers can be a new employee tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, well, that's about how we thought that way.
And we think from our side, like what's just so impressive with Addpro and it's that you're here, your top management in Addpro, and it's just so obvious to you when you talk about it. It's almost weird not thinking the way you are, and we believe it can just be refreshing for a lot of participants here today to hear that, because you've been so thorough in this approach, which we find really, really impressive. And Julia, if we're able to turn to you, because you have been utilizing employee video as part of this process, and it has been via Life Inside, we should say, by the way, but to get the message out there about the revised values. You have it on your career site and so forth, just like we saw from Niklas there. What has that been like? And we saw some questions in the chat about how has the organization and employees reacted to it. What would you say to that?
Yeah, so one of the reasons why we chose to start working with Life Inside was that during the pandemic, we saw a huge change on how important it became to have videos to stand out in the communication. And another reason was that the statistics shows that that one of the reasons that candidates doesn't apply to a company for a job is because they don't get a clear picture on how it really is to work at the company. Yeah. So we thought, what better way than to let our employees tell their story on how it is to really work at Addpro. Yeah. And we wanted them to give our candidates a good first impression that is the same whether they meet us online or in real life. And the results has been so fantastic. We have got a really positive feedback from the candidates that think this is a great way to hear how it really is to work at the company, and to get and also to get a picture on the organization and especially the culture. Yeah. And also they think it's really fun to have seen the person that they talk to in the recruitment process, yeah, that they get to see a video of them, and also that they get to hear from the persons that may be their future colleagues on, yeah, how it really is to work. Yeah. And also internally that we inspire each other to start using more videos and to taking the step, and also to talk more about our culture and to show off our stories. And it's been really good, and people are really proud to contribute. And I think this is the best proof we can get that we really live by our culture, and that, yeah, everyone contributes and take their time to record a video, and that makes me really proud to be a part of Addpro.
That's cool, and I mean, I wish we could speak about this for a longer amount of time, but I mean, time is running out, of course, in today's event. But just Julia, from your side, like top 3 recommendations then on how how you have successfully managed to do this. Like, what would be your recommendations to communicate the culture via video, regardless of platform, really, but just to get started with communicating the culture via video? What would you say?
I would say to put together a team of ambassadors that could start by creating videos and to lead by example, and to mix the management teams with other leaders in the organization, and to make it really easy to record a video by like putting together a battery of questions that they could choose from, and to also offer your help to record. Sometimes it could just help that you are the one that held the camera, and to like inspire and boost and come on, you can do this, and share on. So that could be really effective. And also one of the things that we have done is that reward the people that actually take their time and record a video to make them feel appreciated and special.
Fantastic. Well, guys, thank you very much for your insights in connection to this. And you are a true example and an inspiration to many of us. So thank you for taking the time and sharing these insights.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All the best. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So Emma, I mean, we are reaching the very end of today's event.
That is true. Yeah, that was all we had for today's employer branding talk. And we really hope that you have been able to take some valuable tools and insights with you to be even more successful in your talent acquisition work moving forward. And employer branding talks will of course be back again, but before that we have one of the biggest digital employer branding events of the year coming up in just a few weeks. And of course, you and all your colleagues are invited to that.
And exactly, so on the 10th of May, everyone, it's time for the 2-hour live streamed event. It's a bigger event, Employer Branding Summit, and it's on the theme, is employer branding becoming FOMO, fear of missing out? And in this event, we have some incredible guests you do not want to miss out on. It's SEB's Global Head of Employer Brand, Malin Brandt-Ludin, talking about how to transform the employer brand of a bank into a tech company. It's LinkedIn's Jessica Hedlund, who will talk about the latest trends from the candidate market. And it's Starship, the robotics company, will talk about scaling an employer brand globally. So do not miss out, and you can save your seats on employerbranding.oddwork.se.
Yeah, indeed. And you do not want to miss out on the 10th of May, I can assure you that. And to all of you who have joined here today, participated, engaged in today's event, thank you. And especially to our great speakers, Ben, Niklas, Julia, and Niklas. So it's a lot of Niklases here today.
A lot of Niklases.
Very many Niklases. And of course to our Oddwork team who are supporting me and Charlie in the background to make this event possible. You are the best. We're looking forward to see you again on the 10th of May. And until then, we say happy employer branding.
Thank you very much, everyone. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.